No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of WWE Clash at the Castle from Cardiff, Wales. I am being joined by a special guest host today, good old JM Jeff Meacham. It's 4:40 p.m. Eastern time, so I figured, all right, let's have Jeff on for a change. Usually I just like to go solo when it's like 11 o'clock midnight.
Solo. I understood that reference in the main event. I understood that reference.
You see what I did there. So anyways, Jeff, how's it going, man?
It's going good. You know what? It's funny. As I get ready, I'm gonna leave here in about 40 minutes because I'm gonna, for the first time ever in my life, see Jaws the whole way through with the kiddo.
All right, well, have fun with that. You got a busy day here, just coming off of the pay-per-view.
Yep, going from the pay-per-view to you, to the Jaws, to open mic night, and then tomorrow's going to be even a bit more batshit crazy, so off we go.
All right, let's go ahead and get right into this premium live event. First stadium show in the United Kingdom in 30 years since the 1992 SummerSlam pay-per-view event at Wembley Stadium. We kicked off the show with a 6-woman tag team match, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka against Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, officially known as Damage Control, with new music for the group. What were your thoughts on their new music and their whole presentation?
I'm glad they gave them a name and aren't just throwing them out there as kind of like they did with Pillman and Austin back in the day. They're actually giving them a name. They're actually giving them a new presentation. I dig it. Not surprised they won. I kind of figured they would win, considering Bayley hasn't done much of anything, and that they lost the tag title tournament finals on Monday. They needed a rebound, and they did. And Bayley got the pin on Bianca. That was the key there.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match, and it was funny because the crowd was so into Bayley. They were singing the Hey Bayley song.
Yep.
They were loving her, and she was trying everything to get them to boo her. She was trying to tell them to shut up, and she was not having any of it. But I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a really solid way to kick off the show. The ladies looked great. Any other thoughts on the match?
She went backstage and was just gushing. She was tickled by that. Bayley, the outside character, I had to love that. I also want to mention, we didn't know this, going into today, but the six-man tag on the pre-show introduced the idea that Mr. Money in the Bank was in the building.
Correct.
So that gotta make sure we point that out to the audience that didn't get to watch it, that wasn't watching along with us on the Jeff Meacham Network. There was a 6-man between Madcap and the Profits against Alpha Academy and Austin Theory. So Mr. Money in the Bank was inside the castle going into the main event. So there you go.
Yeah, they pretty much announced that kickoff match like right before it happened, maybe about an hour.
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
which was fine. I get it. The kickoff matches do make sense because it allows the fans to get warmed up, and you could test any technical issues. And in this case, there was an issue. Michael Cole's mic was very distorted during that match.
I did find myself glad I had Noah and James in my headset instead of Michael Cole and the broadcast team doing this show. I'm probably going to regret watching it back later, but that's okay. But yeah, and the fact was, the idea of introducing Theory into the equation made the crowd go, "Oh shit, he's here. Now what? Now what's going to happen?" Because the Usos and Sami Zayn weren't medically cleared to go. They can't cross the border. The Usos can't anyway. So now it's like, what's going to happen? Mr. Money in the Bank's in the house. So what we're going to see at the end of the night. So it's a cool little element there, along with the actual just having a kickoff match.
So Jeff, I wanted to ask you about this. And by the way, I love how Bayley tagged in and then immediately tagged out because the fans were cheering for her. That was great.
Bayley is relishing every bit of this. She is. She's loving being back. She hated being gone because when she had to leave with the injury, she was white hot still, and she was pissed that she had to take the time off. So she's relishing every bit of making the fans jump through the freaking hoops. Dance monkeys dance. She's loving every bit of this shit.
Now I wanted to ask you about the triple suplex. We had Bianca's team doing a triple suplex to Damage Control at the same time. A lot of people have mixed feelings about those kind of spots. To me, they're too over choreographed, but I know the live crowds always love them. What are your thoughts on stuff like this?
I'm not a fan of those. I'm not a fan of the whole Tower of Doom suplex. I despise the whole waiting for the spot on the outside for the people to dive. I think that's infinitely stupid. It makes it very hard to suspend the disbelief when it comes to watching wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever. When you have people waiting on something or over choreographed stuff, it's too much for me. I know the sports entertainment people will, argue against me. High virtue, I know, but I don't like it.
I tend to agree with you on it. I think for the live fans, it's more of a spectacle, but when you're watching it at home and you can see what's going on really clear, to me, it's like, okay, come on. It's a little over the top, but it always gets a crowd reaction. It works.
I would say at this point, if they're going to continue to want to do those spots, great. Keep doing them. Do them in house shows.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that's a very good point.
Because the TV audience is like, okay.
Right.
At that point. So.
Now, Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. He says, please click like and share this video. Say yes to no DQ. Hashtag stick to the shtick. Also, this show is awesome. What a crowd. Even I got goosebumps at home.
We had two people, calling the action. Again, Noah and James are very outspoken against the very idea of sports entertainment, not my NXT, whatever you want to classify them. Up until the very last moment of the match, in the last match, they were into it and they were enjoying themselves. James kind of, got off track at the end, but as far as his feelings, but we'll get there later.
And Caleb, I did not forget your super chat. It is starred. I always star the super chats as soon as I get them. Caleb sent in $4.91. Thank you for that, Caleb. He says, Bayley should be the one to dethrone Bianca Belair. What do you think about that? I tend to agree. I think Bayley's on a roll right now.
I've been saying that since the moment she walked out there at the stadium in Nashville, and with a win here, she definitely cements her place as the person that should be the number one contender at Extreme Rules or Survivor Series, whatever the case may be.
Now, for the finish of this match, Bianca got the big hot tag, of course.
Yes.
And there was a cool spot where Asuka and Alexa both got on Bianca's back to give Bayley a superplex. I liked that. And then Bayley managed to grab Bianca's braid, and that's when things started to turn around in the favor of Bayley's team. Bayley hit Bianca with the rose plant, and then Io came off with the moonsault, and then Bayley went over, pinned Bianca, got the win. And I've complained about this before where I don't like the champion losing in a non-title match. However, when the champion has been dominant for a while, I'm okay with it. And in this case, I believe Bianca has not been pinned in 2022. Somebody threw that stat out there. I'm not sure if it's accurate or not, but she's been pretty dominant, and I'm fine with this in this instant.
And again, Aaron, it wasn't like she lost one of those, what I think are ridiculous, championship contender matches on television where it was one-on-one and she got beat. It was a 6-person tag. She took the fall after a lot of shenanigans. And like you said, she hasn't been pinned to my knowledge this year. So that definitely makes people go, ooh, now what? Which is the one to your audience.
And Asuka got beaten down by the three of them during the match.
Yeah,
she was worn out. And then, both Alexa and Asuka got taken out during the match, and Bianca was pretty much on her own 1 versus 3 at the end.
I was going to ask you about Alexa. Somebody in our chat room said that Alexa posted some cryptic tweet. I guess she went on Twitter and said, every time I come on here, it's a now what feeling. It's like, did I miss something during the course of the broadcast or something that was said about her? Or
that could just be some random drama. She's always...
Well, very much so. And, people on Twitter aren't exactly the kindest of strangers when it comes to Alexa and her personal life. So I was just curious if I missed something in the process of producing my own show. If I didn't miss anything. So, okay.
All right. So real quick, I'll read Gareth Smith's $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Gareth. Much appreciated. It says, mate, first time I can catch a live stream and first super chat. Been a fan for 20 years, and I've seen your name pop up on here over the years. So thank you for your long-term viewership. He says, I enjoyed the show. Gunther versus Sheamus was match of the night, and that ending was underwhelming, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Hopefully, Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns, but we're gonna talk about that later, Jeff, since that's the main event.
Sheamus was next, so we can go ahead and hop on into that one, I guess.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about that. And Mr. Anderson, I got your super chat. I'm gonna go on to that. Get to that super chat in just a little bit when we get to the match. Let's move on to the second match of the evening for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther versus Sheamus. The Brawling Brutes were out there. And by the way, the former Fabian Eichner, now Giovanni Vinci, he was out there full-blown Imperium reunion, and I'm sure we're going to get a 6-man tag team match with these guys at some point.
Did they? I didn't have the WWE commentary on it. Did they acknowledge him as Fabian Eichner again, or are they still calling him Giovanni?
They called him Giovanni, but they said it's an Imperium reunion.
They'll probably revert to the name on SmackDown Friday. Then they should. God, how stupid would that be otherwise?
I'm fine with the name. I'm fine with the Giovanni name.
Well, but okay. Anyway,
all right. So this match was amazing. It was pretty much everything you would have expected from these guys. They did the thing again where they were staring each other down as everybody else brawled, and trading blows, lots of chops. Sheamus's chest was already red like a minute into the match. And Sheamus kept trying to go for the 10 beats, but Gunther would avoid that. But eventually Sheamus got his hands on him and gave him some beats. And what were your thoughts on this match, Jeff?
As a pale redhead, I feel Sheamus's pain right now. I tell you what, man, it's just by the end of it, both guys were lit up like a Christmas tree. Their chests were definitely, the blood vessels were raised. Sheamus was actually actively bleeding on his chest. Gunther's was just really red. I expected it to be good. I didn't expect it to be great. I did not expect it to be match of the night. I thought sure the grudge match later would be match of the night between Rollins and Riddle, and I was shocked how awesome this match really was. So good on both of them. Again, I over on my channel, I've never been the biggest Sheamus fans because of who he was associated with when he first came in, but he's really impressed me with his guys, and Imperium being back is always good for the wrestling fans. So it'll be cool to see how this plays out. I mean, Extreme Rules coming up, 6-man tag just kind of writes itself.
Yeah, and Sheamus got a few near falls. He got hit with a power bomb, which he kicked out of, and he kind of landed on his tailbone. And they played up on that. Sheamus hit a Celtic Cross, a Razor's Edge. Gunther kicked out of that. Gunther kicked out of the white noise, of course. Sheamus went for a brogue kick, but his back gave out on him from the earlier powerbomb. Gunther hit another powerbomb, hit a lariat, and scored the 1-2-3 victory. Fantastic match. And afterwards, Sheamus got this huge standing ovation. And I'm curious if you agree or not. I thought this was the best Intercontinental title match in maybe 20 years. I remember really liking the WrestleMania 31 ladder match for the IC title, but as far as singles matches go, like the last really great, and this is how much the title has fallen over the years. I'm sure there have been some really good matches, but the last one I remember really well being a totally awesome match was Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho, back at the 2001 Royal Rumble. I'm sure there have been great matches I just forgot about, but I feel this was easily the best one in many years, arguably the past 20 years. Your thoughts?
So you're saying the WrestleMania 32 ladder match wasn't your favorite Intercontinental title match here?
No.
If y'all don't remember, Zack Ryder. That's why we are the way we are.
My hair never grew back properly, FYI.
Well, mine kind of grew back in spots. Genetics are a bitch, folks. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to go back and talk about the 2001 Benoit Jericho match, I would probably say that's an accurate statement. There's been some decent Intercontinental Championship matches, and you got to remember, this is the first Intercontinental Championship match on pay-per-view premium live event since WrestleMania 2 years ago in 2019 or 2020. I think it was on WrestleMania, but that was in the Performance Center. This is the first Intercontinental Championship match on pay-per-view premium live event in front of a crowd since before the pandemic. It's awful that the Intercontinental has fallen so far. Just ridiculous. That match was good too. The Triple Threat 34 is, I think, criminally underrated now for whatever reason. People don't talk about that match very often, but they should.
That was a good match. I do remember it a little bit being a pretty solid match at WrestleMania.
I think the one at 31, I think you, and this is not trying to throw shade on you, a couple different things. First of all, our guy, Daniel Bryan won. We've always been, fans of and, acquainted with Daniel Bryan over the years. And number two, you happened to be there. So that definitely weighs heavy when you're there for a match like that. You tend to put a little bit of a different, a little bit of a pedestal on it. But I liked it and I enjoyed. Had Bryan been able to continue on, I probably would have enjoyed the overall thing more. But Bryan got hurt again, so Yeah, I'd say Benoit Jericho would be the last really fantastic one-on-one Intercontinental title match. The last, what you said, 20-something years.
Yeah, this was the first IC title match on a pay-per-view or a premium live event since WrestleMania 37. That's
37.
nuts.
I can remember the WrestleMania, right? I remember it was the one inside the performance
Thunderdome?
center. I remember that one. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Was it Thunderdome?
37 was no, because 39's coming up.
37 was in the stadium, but it was like the half capacity or whatever it was.
Okay. Well, but even still, the fact that it's been over 2 years since we've seen a pay-per-view premium live event Intercontinental title match is bullshit, considering how much they've attempted to build that title up off and on over the years. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But Gunther and Sheamus more made up for. And you got to figure the last Intercontinental Championship match in a stadium show over there was the main event. And you're not going to follow Brett and Davey very, very easily.
Right. So. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, I agree. Best IC title match in at least 20 years. So there you go.
If you go back 20 years exactly, and again, that's when you and I started doing this crazy shit. SummerSlam 2002 between Benoit and RVD was, again, underrated looking back. It was a damn good match. So, and if you figure September pay-per-views.
Because of Benoit, it's going to be forgotten about.
Of course. And then you figure September 2002, they were already starting to ride off the Intercontinental Championship with that stupid Kane Triple H storyline that got us a lot of views talking about it, but not a whole lot of niceties thrown around for that Kane Chris Jericho thing going into Triple H No Mercy. So I would say 20 years is a very safe number to use for a one-on-one title match anyway.
All right, we're going to move on here to the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. Now, it looked to me like Liv's ring gear was very similar to what Sensational Sherry wore at the 1992 SummerSlam. Did you catch that?
I'm glad I was mentioning, she's clearly the baby face, wearing white, and then I looked, I'm like, I'm not sure if she was going for the Sherry vibe, but now that you say it, I actually agree with it. Yeah, I do. Very, very subtle little hint there.
It was a good match, but probably the weakest match on the show. I thought it was a good showing for Liv Morgan. Yes. They had a back and forth match. My issue was that, because Liv has been not booked so well, she won the title and then retained on a fluke type of deal, cashed in Money in the Bank. This was a nice, decisive win for her, but she's going to need to be built up more for me to be really invested. I just really did not care that much about this match.
Yeah, I think the wrong singles championship on the women's side was defended on this stadium show. I'm not trying to discount Liv or Shayna in any way, don't get me wrong. And like you said, Liv had a great showing. She had a decisive victory here. She didn't get over Ronda, but she did get over Ronda's running buddy. So I think 2.25 is a little low, Jose, but I'll go ahead and acknowledge that you said that. If we have to do the Meltzer scale, I would give it at least a 3 or a 4 personally. And again, that's me being very generous, I think, with women's matches, because the women's matches, the way they've been booked lately, have just been kind of what it was. Like you said, Liv's been booked not poorly, but incorrectly, I think would be the best term to use. Because like you said, she got a fluke win. Yes, Money in the Bank's always going to be a fluke win. That's how Money in the Bank works. You cash an opportunity, and then the retention was what it was with Ronda. I like what they did with Ronda and Pierce last night, so we'll see if that goes any further. But the match with Shayna was what it needed to be. Shayna was pretty dominant for a good chunk of it, but Liv got a decisive 1-2-3.
Absolutely.
With Lillian, which has not been kicked out of yet, by the way. So
yeah, she got out of the Kira Fuda clutch, and then she hit a code breaker followed by the Oblivion, got the 1-2-3 victory. Solid win for her, right outcome. I know Big G loves Shayna Baszler, but if Liv Morgan's going to have credibility as champion, she's got to pick up some big wins on the premium live events, and that's what this was.
I think defeating the next best thing to Ronda Rousey is a good start.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if she gets that win or not. All right, we're going to move on now to Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day. Finn Bálor and Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley was out there, of course. Edge had this luchador mask, since he was with Rey Mysterio. That made sense. And first time I can recall him ever wearing a mask to the ring. Am I wrong? Did he wear a mask?
Other than as the conquistadors, yes.
Oh, yeah. Good call there.
No one knows. Can't forget those.
So, yeah, good match here. And they were really into Edge, even though Finn Balor's a United Kingdom guy. They were still very much into Edge. Edge was probably the most over guy in this match, and the crowd liked Rey too, but they were really into Edge.
It's Edge's first UK pay-per-view premium live since he's returned, right? So that's probably why.
Yeah. I thought this was a very good match, and you had Dominik out there. Rhea Ripley took him down. Rey went over and made the save for Dominik, and Dominik ended up tripping Bálor. Rey hit Bálor with the 619, and then Edge speared Bálor, giving Edge and Rey Mysterio the victory. So I went with the other team because I thought Dominik was going to turn heel and cost Rey and Edge the match. So afterwards, we had the big celebration, and then all of a sudden, Dominik gave Edge a low blow.
Right through the uprights, man. Freaking penalty kick, 50-yarder.
Yeah. And then Rey Mysterio was yelling at his son, and Dominik, maybe the best move of his career. He walloped Rey with a lariat.
He did.
Brutal.
He wound up with 17 years of frustration after his illegitimate parenting illegitimate paternity was revealed to the world. That was him balling up from SummerSlam and having his personal life dragged through the mud at such a young age. That was him taking it out on Edge and his father. That's what that was. I loved it. I was surprised how they did the finish. I'm surprised that it wasn't at the cost of the victory, but I love they did it anyway. That was wonderful.
Yeah, so they did the turn, but they did it after the match, which I was not expecting. They threw a little curveball at us.
Which gave the Judgment Day their victory. Whether they won the match or not, they accomplished their goal. They twisted Dominik around enough to embrace his dark side. I can't wait for SmackDown now, or for Raw, rather.
Yeah, and Finn Bálor was just laughing his ass off.
They all were. All three of them were into it, man. Dominik tore the shirt off Hogan style and it was a Mysterio shirt. Let's not forget that. So he walked in the back, just bare-chested and full of, P&V, man. He's ready to strike out on his own, with or without the Judgment Day's backing. I love it. Love it.
David Estevez sent in $2, says Judgment Day laughing made this so much better.
That to me was very much like the Mick Foley Triple H thing. If Mick Foley peels off that Mankind stuff in his Cactus Jack and Triple H laughs, it's a fart in church. But because the Judgment Day lost the match and still accomplished their goal of twisting Dominik, it made it everything. It was very well, great match, great presentation, great post-match. Everything about this was solid.
And by the way, Dr. Dakota Scorpio sent in $2 earlier, says, I knew Liv Morgan was going to beat Shayna clean, called it. I mean, we all pretty much did, except for Big G.
Well, I don't even know if people called it was going to be clean. I remember that Dr. Scorpio mentioned during your prediction show Tuesday that it was going to be a clean finish. So good on you, Doctor.
All right, let's see what we got here. Caleb Jacobs sent in $5. Thank you, Caleb. Says Edge and Mysterio were the second ever WWE Tag Team Champions after Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit.
As far as the SmackDown branded Tag Team Champions, yes. And who beat Edge and Mysterio? The Guerreros. So there you go. The Guerreros and the Mysterios forever intertwined. And now Dominik maybe come out there Monday night and, reveal that, hey, I'm a Guerrero. Of course I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal.
Building Nexus sent in $2 and says, why would Dominik join those lovers now? Did he? I don't feel like he actually joined them.
Oh, he walked out of that stadium on his own with that heel chin held high in defiance. So I don't think he's part of Judgment Day. I think he's just Dominik Guerrero. That's what I think is going to happen Monday night.
Interesting. All right, let's see what else we have here. God First, Hate It or Love It sent in a $10 super chat. Says, you guys are doing a great job tag teaming this review. Awesome turn by Dominik. Perfect timing.
Appreciate the praise, and I can't agree more.
Oh, and I wanted to add, I love Edge's reaction as he got the low blow, his look at Dominik. That was fantastic.
He just come crestfallen, like, Ed too dumb? And he just slides down like, no.
Tremendous. I love that.
He's so good. He's so good. I missed him. I didn't realize how much I missed him until he came back. Damn, I missed him. Oh, anyway.
Next up, we have Matt Riddle versus Seth Freakin Rollins, and I guess Rollins broke into the mansion of Elton John and stole his attire for his entrance.
I was pretty sure he just borrowed something out of Becky's closet since she's sitting home recovering.
Well, a bunch of people had pictures of Elton John, so it's pretty clear that was the influence.
Like I said, people were trying to figure out what the costume represented. It looked to me like he was going to be a phoenix rising from the ashes of getting his ass handed to him 3 straight shows by Cody Rhodes, is what I said on our show. Was, he hasn't won a match on pay-per-view all freaking year, so he had to do something.
And Torvik says that our storyline was fake.
Y'all need to get a life. God. Oh, God forbid friends actually have a quarrel over stupid shit. Oh, dear. Anyway, carry on.
David Estevez sent in a $2 super chat, says, what if Dominik joins Santos Escobar? Ooh.
Dominik doesn't need that freaking stable, man. Dominik's got a good enough push-off on his own now. He doesn't need and again, I'm not saying Santos and the guys would drag it down. He doesn't need him, though. At least not yet.
But if he's going to be a heel, he might need some backup, and he might have some guys that can cut a promo for him, too. That could help.
I'd like to see exactly what Santos and his boys do before we get any sort of interaction with him and Dominik. Any of that.
Because it was rumored that those guys would be called up soon.
Right. And the draft is nigh, so we'll see where they end up.
Let's see what we got here. Caleb Jacob sent in $5. Thank you, Caleb. Says, I don't think he joined Judgment Day at all. Dominic Guerrero incoming. Eddie is his poppy.
Viva La Raza, baby.
Yeah, if they wanted to keep that going, they could definitely play up on that. And he
it's
could
so
really...
funny. So many people I know legitimately turned off WWE programming because of that storyline. And now we're sitting here. You know what? James brought this up on our show, and I didn't remember what he was talking about. Bruce Pritchard had the gall to say that was one of the most beloved storylines in WWE history. I about threw my shoe through the TV watching that A&E thing last week. I'm like, what in the shit? I usually don't, knock on Bruce too much anymore, but damn it, that was a blasphemous, incorrect statement. People hated that shit. And if they go with it now, it seems to be people are retrospectively loving it. So whatever works, I guess. No allowance for damn. Hey, the girls got money too. We'll see.
This is kind of unrelated to what we're talking about at the moment, but Chat About Wrestling sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, is the post-premium live event press conference a ripoff of the AEW scrums? I haven't even seen the Clash at the Castle one. I think it's going on right now, but I mean, people have been doing press conferences after events for years. I mean, AEW has been doing it since the beginning, and it's a thing.
After every major,
anything AEW copied UFC and boxing and all that stuff, and WWE's just following suit.
Oh, so wait, you mean WWE's ripping off the company that beat the developmental? Okay, cool.
There you go. I'm sure people will have a field day with that.
Go for it. Triple H said it himself. I don't give a shit if they latch on me or not.
All right, so I thought this was a really good match. Not as good as Sheamus versus Gunther, but back and forth match here. And Rollins was trying to play with Riddle's emotions during the match. He called him a goddamn loser. And Riddle just getting mad, losing his cool. Rollins was busting out Orton's moves, doing the draping DDT, doing a KO attempt, but Riddle countered with a rear naked choke. And then Riddle went for a chair. He was just losing it, lost his cool, swung. He was going to get himself DQ'd, but he missed. And then Rollins hit the curb stomp and then went off the second rope with a second curb stomp and picked up the victory. So this feud will likely continue. This went about exactly how I thought it was going to go, with Rollins picking up the first win, and they'll probably have a grudge match at Extreme Rules. What were your thoughts on this match?
The only thing I was surprised at was the actual finish. There was a finish. I thought sure they were just going to go to town each other and go to a schmaz. So I was surprised that they actually had the definitive finish. And man, for a move that was banned not too long ago, that curb stop has come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I like how they did the one off the second rope to finish him off. We're letting you know this is the end of the match, and I'm going to drive his freaking head through the canvas. I like they incorporated Randy's moves in, because like I said, I think it was either on our when I was on with you the other day, they've kind of de-emphasized the Randy part of this. Like Riddle was
motivated by defending Randy's honor while he's off on injury. He hasn't been mentioned a whole lot during the run up to this match, and now Rollins incorporating Randy's moves in may lead to Randy's involvement if he's well enough by Extreme Rules, one way or the other. Maybe he'll come against Rollins for using his moves. Maybe he'll go against Riddle for still not getting the job done, even though he was against Randy Orton in his head. So we'll see.
And Rollins really needed this win after losing all those matches to Cody, I thought.
Like I said, he has not won a match on a Premium Live event in this calendar year. He needed this, I think, more than anybody needed a win tonight, including Drew McIntyre. I'm not even going to lie.
LaShawn Davis sent in a $2 super chat, says, I give this show an A, only one match was weak.
If you're rating the match, I think you're rating as weak based on the finish of the night. The finish was what it was, man. I liked it. And again, we'll get to that in a second.
All right, so let's get to the main event, guys. You've been waiting for us to talk about it. The WWE Unified Universal Championship, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Undisputed this week. Yeah.
Defending against Drew McIntyre in the United Kingdom. Drew McIntyre's home island. He got the big entrance. There was a video package with the old broken theme song that people were requesting. And then they transitioned to his regular music for the rest of his entrance. So nice little entrance here. Yeah. And Roman Reigns, of course, got heavily booed, as you might expect.
Yep. But it was a cool thing. They played Broken Dreams, and then they played his regular song, which, okay, maybe they're going to do something different with the finish. Then Roman came out by himself, defiant, standing tall. I'm like,
well,
too easy.
I started thinking to myself, so as soon as Roman Reigns came out there by himself, and I guess, the Usos can't travel internationally because Paul Heyman's still selling his injury, but they're really playing it up. Roman Reigns is alone. He's in trouble. Like, as soon as they said that, I'm like, oh boy, something's going to go down here. Like,
yeah, I managed to mute myself on screen and listen to the commentary. Roman Reigns has to go through the bloodline. I went, no, he doesn't, but okay, we'll see how it lays out. And, I'll let you do the match description as you do, but man, the finish won out like I figured it would, but go ahead.
It was a lengthy match between these guys, a slow feeling out process. Roman Reigns retreating to the outside when McIntyre started to build up momentum. And Reigns started doing the trash talking. He got on the mic and told Cardiff to acknowledge him.
He did.
Dr. Dakota Scorpio sent in $2, says Drew's dream was broken after tonight, LOL.
Hey, they play Broken Dreams, and again, Dr. Dakota Scorpio's 2 for 2 on the comments right now, so can't argue with him.
So the story that was playing out here, like McIntyre was kicking out at one several times, and then when McIntyre would try to go for the Claymore, Reigns escaped to the outside of the ring. Later on, McIntyre tried the Claymore. Reigns hit a Superman punch. McIntyre kicked out. McIntyre went for another Claymore later. Reigns countered this one with a spear. And I even told Caitlin, McIntyre's kicking out of at least one spear.
At least one. Oh, yeah.
He ain't losing to one spear. No chance in hell, to quote Vince. No. So, yeah.
Right.
McIntyre kicks out of a spear. And then you had Reigns hit a second spear, which McIntyre kicked out of again. And that one seemed a little bit more believable. Yes. The crowd was definitely nervous there for a second, and they were erupting. They were red hot for this match. Of course, they were singing "Oh, Drew McIntyre" like the Seven Nation Army. They were fully behind him, as you would expect.
Oh yeah.
Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "I acknowledge him. Knew I shouldn't have bet against him." Well, guess what, Jeff? I'm going to say this right now. I'm officially not betting against Roman Reigns until WrestleMania.
What did we say during the entirety of the John Cena dominance? What did JBL tell us every single week on television? Big match, John. Don't bet against John Cena.
And now,
don't bet against Roman Reigns anymore, folks.
This was the real opportunity, I thought, for Reigns to drop the title. Now that that's over, he ain't dropping that thing until WrestleMania at the earliest.
If the only way it's happening is if Cody comes back and is challenging him prior to Hollywood. Otherwise, you're right. Yep.
I will be I'm telling you right now, I'm betting Roman Reigns all the way up until WrestleMania and every premium live event. So they might as well not even have him defend it because I don't think anybody's beating him.
Even if he has Cody as a challenger?
Cody's the only guy. And
okay.
whenever Cody comes back, Cody or The Rock. And I feel like The Rock's not going to be doing more than one match.
And I was going to say, I can't see Dwayne being in the ring before SoFi.
I mean, the only guy I see beating Roman Reigns is Cody at this point.
Right.
Cody's the guy. It just matters of when it happens.
And like we've said, Rock and Roman doesn't need the title, but if it's there, if it's in play when he gets here, then cool.
So,
but again, the finish.
Yeah, let's get to the finish now. So after Reigns hit the second spear and McIntyre kicked out, Reigns was, of course, very upset. He yelled at the referee. McIntyre knocked Reigns down, but Reigns took down the referee in the process. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. A-Town down. Austin Theory runs down. And everybody around the world is collectively, oh no, not this.
We're like, God, no, please.
And they made great usage of Tyson Fury here. This was the one good thing they did with Fury on this show. They had to punch out Austin Theory, and that was a great idea to do that.
He knocked him straight out. That was great. Just one punch, and A-Town went down.
Yeah, everybody was so happy about that. Oh, by the way, LaShawn Davis sent in a $2 super chat. Says, I meant Liv match was weak. Jeff, the card was great.
Yeah, and again, if Liv's match is the weakest match, we still had a good night because that was a solid match. It really was.
So anyways, after that, McIntyre, Reigns, they brawled. They did the hockey fight deal. They traded blows, and then McIntyre hit a spear to Roman Reigns and then hit the Claymore. Everyone thought this was it, new champion, as did I. But then somebody pulled the referee out of the ring at the very last split second, and it turned out to be Solo Sikoa, the other Uso, the Usos' younger brother. And I mean, we all knew his call-up was imminent. Like it's been over the last several weeks, actually months. Like it's talked about for months that he would be called up, join the bloodline. So that I definitely expect it to happen at some point, just not necessarily on this show. So anyways, your thoughts on
can't travel. They got him over there. I said it on our stream. You know, when Aaron, you played cards with Greg Cherry and everybody back in the day. You talk about poker, you have an ace in the hole. Roman had his oos in the hole tonight.
Yeah, he did. So Mr. Anderson sent in $10, says, yet again, Roman Lames needs a member of his family to help him keep the titles. I'm tired of WWE keeping him as WWE Undisputed WWE champion. He can never win it by himself.
I would love everybody that says that to go back 30 years or more than 30 now and bitch about the Horsemen keeping the title on Flair, or bitch about Evolution keeping the title on Hunter, or bitch about the NWO keeping the title on Hogan, or whatever. It's all the same thing. The heel does what the heel has to do to retain the title. Yeah,
it's just Reigns hit the spear and of course won at this point. I thought this was the wrong decision, man. I'm not going to defend it. McIntyre should have won this match. Create the SummerSlam 92 feel good moment and give us a really special celebration.
Well,
Reigns will be fine. He can still main event WrestleMania versus The Rock.
Right.
He's going to be just fine. They could have created a really great moment. Like, even though Lex Luger had the WCW title for like a week, when he beat Hogan, like, we still remember it to this day. And they do it with Luger in 93. That should have been his moment. They did the lame ass count out. Lex Luger was never the same after that. And dare I say, this was like the modern day Lex Luger SummerSlam 93 moment. I was not a fan of this, Jeff.
But we got a UK sing-along of American Pie with Tyson Fury and everything. Now, how can you be disheartened by that?
Now, I'm wondering... and McIntyre never got his stadium win either, and this was the time to do it. This really there's never going to be a better time than this show right here. Even WrestleMania. WrestleMania is in the United Kingdom.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I said during the lead up, I said, if this show delivers, this will be a huge selling point to bringing Mania over there. People are going to want finishes like this, man. They got pissed.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't.
The only reason people were smiling at the end of this was because of Tyson Fury leading them along in song. Otherwise, we could have had the castle burned down, like for real. It was
okay, so let's talk about that now. So after the match, Tyson Fury got in the ring, and Tyson Fury, not Theory, he got in the ring, had words with Roman Reigns, and then they shook hands.
Yes.
So whatever.
Acknowledged it.
Yeah, he acknowledged him. And then Fury got on the mic, started praising McIntyre. You gave it a good old solid effort, Mr. B+ player. He didn't say that, but
no, but it's what we're thinking, right?
Could have said that. And then he started singing the American Pie song, and I'm like, was this even supposed to be on the air? Like this was awful.
It was so corny and so lame.
And then McIntyre started praising the fans, and then he started singing. He's like, "We're gonna party." This was Lex Luger's 3. You're celebrating after losing the biggest match of your career. What the hell?
Seriously, just go ahead and start dropping the freaking Union Jack and balloons.
Started dropping confetti from the ceiling.
Seriously.
Oh my God! Like
so bad.
Was this supposed to be on TV? Because this made McIntyre look like such a doofus.
Seriously, Adrian with the riff phrase, stupid baby face. The stupidest baby face. Like this is so bad. You know what? Here we go. I'm gonna take a stance here. This is worse than Lex. Lex at least won the damn match.
And Lex Luger was pushed during a cold period in WWE. WWE's red hot right now. They were in a stadium, 60,000+ people. Perfect opportunity to crown Drew McIntyre the champion. And then he's like just singing after losing the biggest match of his life.
I was waiting for Braun Breaker to come up and put him on his shoulders just to completely reenact the Lex thing, just to make it a full synergy moment. Have Braun Breaker walk out there, but he's in Florida obviously for tomorrow, so wouldn't have worked out that way.
And this is what people are going to remember years from now. Like you're going to remember Lex Luger winning by count out, celebrating, Drew McIntyre losing, and then celebrating, singing afterwards, and partying with Tyson Fury.
I sit on the air with James, be mad at it. Own how bad it is, but let's see how it plays out. I've had a few minutes now waiting for you to come on and the last 45 to go over it with you. May I use the one F-bomb for the show?
Yeah.
That was fucking awful. It was so bad. Oh my God. It was, like I said, it's worse than Lex because at least Lex won the match and it was a good feel-good moment in America that he beat the evil Japanese champion or whatever. Yes, he didn't win the title. But yeah, even Fury knocking him out would have been better than
At least Luger won. I mean, it wasn't the title, but at least he won the match.
Yeah, he won the match. Drew got beat. He got outsmarted, and he ended the show with a smile on his doofus face.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's so bad. Like, I didn't realize in the moment how bad it was till I've had a chance to be on here.
Maybe we're off on this. Maybe next time if they ever run a stadium show again, I presume they will. We'll see if they draw a similar crowd. If they can draw a big crowd, then our opinions really don't matter.
Well, no. I don't think they'll have trouble drawing a crowd. I don't think the crowd will shit on it because of the final minute and a half of the match and the post-match, whatever the hell. The crowd was into the damn sing-along, it seemed like to me. I just, and again, I agree with Torvik. I turned it off when they were wrapping it up because it's like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't think the crowd, you talk about, killing a town. I don't think they killed the territory. I think they just killed Drew McIntyre. No doubt about it.
Yep. All right. So we do have some super chats here. We'll get to those. Dr. Dakota Scorpio sent in $2. Thank you. Says Drew got Luger. That's going to be a thing now.
Like I said, that'll be the next shirt one of us puts that on our Wrestling Tees website. We'll have freaking Drew McIntyre on shoulders holding up a Scottish flag.
And Walter Cruz sent in $2. Says, so will Solo beat Gunther to bring the IC title to the Bloodline?
I saw something earlier in the chat about them signing Jacob Fatu. You know what? Why not? Seriously, if they're going to go with this Bloodline dominance, go balls deep. Seriously, get Solo a title, get Jacob in the company, sign Trinity back, and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the whole singing thing was designed to try to send the crowd home happy. But I'll tell you what, if I was there live, I would have gotten my ass out of there as soon as
Well, but Aaron,
Tyson Fury
again,
got in the ring.
we brought up earlier about the Tower of Doom moves on television versus live crowd. I'm sitting here at home, thousands of miles away going, what the shit? So I wouldn't have done that on TV.
Adam sent in a $5 super chat, says, "You're missing the point, bro. The bloodline got larger, bro. Plus you got Bray and Braun coming back, bro."
Thank you, Vince Russo, on your burner account.
Yeah.
I don't mind the blood. Okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
I like the bloodline getting bigger and stronger and dominant. I've loved this bloodline thing from the get. You can go back and watch my streams, and if you prove me wrong, by all means, I'll admit I was wrong. Lord knows I've done that enough this week. I just don't like that they had to freaking kill Drew off in the process. It sucks. Yeah. And yeah, Imperium being on the same show as the Bloodline will definitely do one of two things: lead to some good shit, or clog it up.
I agree with that, man.
Imperium versus Bloodline would be good because then you've got Solo going after Gunther and the Intercontinental Championship. Which again, if they're going to bring Solo up and have him be an Impact player like they did tonight, he's got to be a champion, just like his brothers, just like his cousin.
Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you. Says Roman versus Seth Rollins 10th anniversary match at SummerSlam or Survivor Series? Oh, Survivor Series because
Survivor Series because of their debut in 2012 with Ambrose. I don't see a need for that. Unless
Rollins did
I would say, what's that?
Rollins did beat him at Royal Rumble.
He did beat him. I would say the only way that makes any sense in my brain is if it's for one championship and Rollins takes that championship back to Raw with him.
Problem is, if they book that match, I'm still going with Reigns.
Well, right, and I won't disagree with that sentiment, but again, what do you do at this point? That was the question we all had all week, all month since SummerSlam. If Roman wins here, what do you do? What's the next step? What's the end game besides The Rock? And we still don't know that's 100% the case yet. We've had nothing from WWE, nothing from Dwayne, certainly. All we've had is Roman minorly mention it. I think it was on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show that he would love to face Rock at WrestleMania. But that's all we've gotten as an actual maybe that this is going to happen. Yeah. So what do you do with Roman between September 3rd and April 1st?
Well, probably nothing in October, maybe something at Survivor Series, maybe something at the Rumble, and then WrestleMania.
That's a long damn time for your top guy that holds the world championships of both brands to do jack shit.
Well, better get used to it.
It really is. Not good.
And Keith Johnson, we forgot to mention Karrion Kross interfered during the match, too. He threw like a bottle at McIntyre.
Because it became such a non-factor, we didn't even think about it.
Yeah, and it looks like, Drew McIntyre is going to feud with Karrion Kross. So there you go.
And if that's the next step for Drew and it gets Karrion TV time in a match at a pay-per-view or pre-live event, cool. I'm okay with that. I just don't like the fact that moment came at the expense of Drew's moment completely getting shit on and thrown to the side. That's not cool. I like the bloodline growing. I like Karrion Kross being involved. I like everything about what happened here, except the fact that Drew's moment that we've talked about for 2 years is now completely not going to happen.
Right. Now, I suppose Cody could come back sooner. They could do the title change at like the Royal Rumble, and then Reigns faces The Rock and Cody defends the title. Like, imagine if Seth Rollins won the Rumble and then they did Cody and Seth for the title at WrestleMania, something like that.
Again, I wouldn't mind that being the end game because Cody and Seth definitely has that built-in storyline going in. And if Seth has the championship and Cody came back to win the championship, boom, writes itself.
Maybe Braun Strowman's going to be back on Raw to take another crack at the tribal chief.
There you go.
Bray Wyatt. A lot of rumors about Bray Wyatt coming back too, so we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
All right, so overall, I thought it was a very good show, and I was going to go with like an A- or even an A depending on the finish, but I have to bump it down a little bit because of how it ended. I'm going with a B+. Very good show. Drew McIntyre not winning the title, the whole post-match thing brought it down a little bit for me. And it was still very solid. So B+, what would you give it?
I think you said it best when you were talking about Fury. He didn't say the word B+ out loud, but that's basically what he freaking Daniel Bryan him. So yeah, B+ is pretty safe. Pretty safe. Okay, so all right, so Torvik, let me ask you this, and let me ask everybody in the chat: if Cody's not the guy, and The Rock is not a certainty, who the hell? Who the hell is left? Seriously, please let us know. Either tonight in the chat room, open mic night tonight on my channel, tomorrow during the freaking 8-hour Odyssey we're going to be on pay-per-view tomorrow between the two brands. Whatever. But tell me what you guys think who it should be, because he and I are at a loss. If it's not going to be Cody, like it should be being the champion, and it's not The Rock is the end game, who? Who is it? Who? Who is it? Who's it going to be to take down Roman Reigns? He said it so many times when he's come out there. He's beaten everybody.
About this, I mean, they could do that at Survivor Series. They've been protecting Lashley.
They have been protecting Lashley. I just don't know, because based on the way they designed the graphic Survivor Series, it's going to be brand versus brand again, which you and I both hate because it's right for the friggin' draft again. It's stupid.
It'll probably be Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series.
Which I'm okay with, because Roman's the world champion of both brands. So, okay, cool. And Bobby Lashley's a Raw guy. But again, do you bet against Roman Reigns at this point?
No. He will beat Bobby Lashley if they have a match.
That is the easiest money.
He will.
That is easier money in Vegas than, betting on the house to win at a table. Guaranteed.
You know what's going to suck if Roman Reigns gets hurt one of these matches that he has coming up, and then he has to relinquish the title or something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those, the only way I can see it happening legitimately is if he pulls a Rollins and just gets so overworked and so, involved that he ends up on a fluke, stupid injury like what happened to Seth versus Kane over in Europe. Oh my God, was that disappointing as hell.
Yeah. Now, before we go, Mr. Anderson says, before the end of the stream, can you sing Bye Bye Miss American Pie like the ending to Clash at the Castle? Okay.
Trying to remember the actual words. I always botch the chorus. So go ahead. You can start if you want. I'll go ahead and go in the chorus.
Oh, I know.
No? Okay.
Mr. Tito sent in a $5 super chat, says, there's a reason why Drew McIntyre was released previously. He's good, not great. Keep the title on Reigns until somebody legitimately over arrives to beat him. I guess he had his hearing aid and could not hear anything at the pay-per-view in Cardiff.
Yeah, I guess not. All right, I got the chorus ready. If they're going to super chat it, I'll karaoke it. Why not?
Pulled my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
I drove my Chevy, levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this with the
Okay. More of a recital of it rather than a sing.
Well, but I mean, I don't mind singing this off the air once we're doing all the super chats. It's up to you.
All right. So, anyways, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We very much appreciate your viewership and support. If you liked this recap, give it a thumbs up, spread the word, and I will be back tomorrow night, just me solo, because it's going to be late with, especially with All Out, and I'm going to have a very window to do the Worlds Collide recap. I'm going to do Worlds Collide right after it ends, and hopefully I'll have enough time before the kickoff for AEW starts. So it'll probably be 6:30-ish Eastern, I want to say. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to get a quick 20-minute stream in. So be on the lookout for that. And then All Out, I'll be back 1 o'clock Eastern or whenever it's going to be. So stay tuned for all that. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. You can check out full results. Anything you would like to plug or promote before we go? I have the old graphic, but it may already be dated.
You get the one from yesterday. The one from yesterday is just fine.
Okay.
Perfect. There you go. So again, season finale of American Pie. Wow, I'm already on that mode. Open mic night tonight, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. Tomorrow, we're going to be on the air at noon Eastern. Noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, and go straight through. No break. So we're going to overlap you. Sorry, boss. But Noah and I think JJ will be calling Worlds Collide. I think Noah and James will be calling All Out. And I'll be here pushing all the buttons, and the bottom right is just JJ's, not just, I don't want to underplay it, JJ's content for the next week or so. It's busy as always. I try to go into semi-retirement, and I'm always busy. I'll never retire. Woo!
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
But yeah, as of now, the Talk Wrestling that was supposed to be on this last Tuesday and the school district botched me on will definitely be, for now, scheduled for this Tuesday. But we'll see if I get railroaded again.
All right. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy Worlds Collide and All Out. 20 matches. They have 15 matches for All Out, including the kickoff matches.
Noah Foster shall be dead. He's calling 20 matches, the poor bastard.
Anyways, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy Labor Day. And remember to say yes to NoDQ.com. We'll see you all next time.
And this'll be the day that we die. Dun, dun.